Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of September 14th to the 20th of 2020. All right, so new moon week. We have a new moon on Thursday. So as we approach Thursday, really good to finalize things from the previous lunar month, complete things, and fundamentally create a bit of space. This is the lowest energy phase of the cycle, which is good to, kind of create some space for these new beginnings that will likely emerge around the corner from Thursday onward. Now, the new moon will be in Virgo, so it's now shifting into a theme from that of self-expression of Leo, which we still do have some energy, which we'll talk about, but getting into more of the detail and improvement-oriented nature of Virgo. So finding solutions, facilitating things in our life, getting into that improvement orientation, really good to develop Thursday onwards. All right, so we do have some aspects this week. We have the Sun trine Jupiter earlier in the week on Monday, maybe some inspiration we could be feeling. Tuesday, Venus will be squaring Uranus, maybe good to get outside of our comfort zone when it comes to our enjoyments and our relationships. Around Thursday, Mercury squares Jupiter, good for expanding our perception in constructive ways. Sun will be trine Saturn, good for some grounding and productive energy around Thursday. And over the weekend, particularly around Sunday, Mercury will start to square up to Pluto. So how can we use our deep minds and deep communications in constructive ways? All right, so let's take a look at all of this as well as a weekly recap here in more detail when we return. All right, so here is the sky for this week. We're going to look at this for each day of the week, starting first with Monday. And again, we are using the visible sky, which is different from mainstream astrology. You will notice a lot of the signs that I'm mentioning are different from what you might be hearing on other online sources. So definitely check out that link down below if you do notice some of the signs I say are different, because we are using the actual size of the constellations, which does change the signs from mainstream astrology. All right, so let's go and do a quick recap in terms of where all the planets are placed still. Starting first with the sun, we do have the sun finishing Leo this week. We'll probably start to notice the shift from Leo into Virgo around the Tuesday, Wednesday time period. So I think it is still good to be, especially Monday, Tuesday, still focused on the things that we love in life and what gives us energy and what we find fun. That has been the theme of the previous lunar month. But as we start to get closer to that new moon on Thursday, the sun shifting into Virgo places more of a focus on the improvement-oriented aspects of life. How can we facilitate things in our life, both for ourselves, which is great for personal development, also things that involve our work or our service, where we can put that detail orientation, and also things like health, diet, routines, good habits, right? All of this improvement stuff, really good to start to focus on, in which we will notice that new beginning with the new moon on Thursday. Now, Mercury's already been here, so it's been good to use our minds in this way of improvement orientation. So that's extra strong once the sun gets in there. And Venus will be finishing up Cancer this week. So all the way for the rest of the week up until about Sunday, still good to be enjoying some of the protective elements of life, maybe spending time at home or with family, getting into more of that feeling-based connection when it comes to our personal life is great with that. And then lastly, of course, Mars recently went retrograde in Pisces for a very long transit here. So as it has been the past almost few months now, good to still be receptive to taking action. Right, Mars is action, Pisces is the oceans. It's very important to be receptive to the ebbs and flows of life when it does come to whatever it is we're pursuing. Especially with Mars retrograde, it's a good time of reevaluating our deeper spiritual desires and needs, which is represented by Pisces. All right, so let's go and start with Monday here. We do have the moon shifting out of that protective Cancer, which we maybe felt over the weekend coming into this week. And so this is still good around the early part of Monday in particular for, again, creating that protective environment for ourselves and others. Good to connect to our feelings, connect to our bodies, get in touch with more of our intrinsic values, maybe our soul, reflecting on the past a little bit, more of the feeling-based elements, and creating that protective environment to connect to those feelings is a great way of working with the first part of Monday. But as the day unfolds, we'll start to feel more of that Leo energy with the moon shifting into Leo for Tuesday and Wednesday as well. So still good, like I was saying, for that self-expression of Leo. What is that we love? We find passionate, especially these first few days of the week. Now on Monday though, we do have the Sun trining Pluto. So going into Tuesday, it could be quite constructive for focusing on things that are more deeper in terms of our deeper values in life, right? The Sun is what we're focused on. Pluto is excavating the depths. So it's really good for connecting in a deeper way to life or relationships, to ourselves, just in general. Great time of uncovering things, maybe doing some deeper work or healing, just feeling more empowered is really the energy here. And also really good for things like research and anything we can excavate about life. Now, once we start to get into the Tuesday time with the moon shifting into more of that expressive Leo, we do have Mercury squaring up to Uranus, a bit of a challenging aspect here, but can be very constructive. So Venus represents what we value in our relationships, and Uranus is all about the unexpected. And so it is good to get outside of our comfort zone here a little bit around Tuesday when it comes to maybe connecting in different ways or with different situations or with our relationships, right? Experimenting a little bit, getting outside that comfort zone, and just being open to some spontaneity, some different experiences, and finding out how we can link up what we enjoy and value with more freedom in our life, right? Because Uranus wants us to have more freedom. It's all about connecting more to our true self. And there might be a little bit of a clash with that, with our interpersonal lives. But if we can merge the two, have the new experiences, and enjoy our connections in that way, and the things we enjoy in that way, that can be a very constructive part for Tuesday here. All right, and then as we get into the Wednesday time period, the Sun will start to shift into Virgo, gearing up for that new moon on Thursday. Again, this will be the ending phase of the cycle, this whole early part of the week. So it is good to, especially as we get closer to Thursday, create a bit of space, right? Create a bit of space. It's the lowest energy. It's a spiritual time. It's a time of reflection spiritually, connecting inward, and maybe starting to see what's important to us on a soul and spiritual level. And by creating that space, then we allow for the new beginnings, and we'll start to feel that on Thursday. But this whole early part, while we're doing that, maybe reflecting on the previous lunar month's energy of Leo. What is it that we again enjoy? Maybe finalizing some things that we enjoy, we find fun, or involves that creative self-expression in some way. Could be a great way of working with, particularly the closer part of Thursday. All right, and then Thursday is really where the concentration of energy is. Like I said, that's the new moon. Good to just be receptive at that time to see what new is starting to emerge, but also maybe starting to set some intentions for what you want to cultivate for the next lunar month. And if it's geared towards Virgo, then I think that's a great way of working with it. Again, what can be improved and refined in our life, both about ourselves, in our environment, maybe our work, right? Routines, habits, all this stuff. And I do want to mention, I'll of course make a separate video on this for the new moon, but the new moon will be in harmony with a lot of the transformational energy that we've had this year. We'll be trining up to Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, who have been involved with this whole restructuring that we've been seeing collectively and personally. So a bit of a trine gives a bit of support to that, and maybe noticing some synergy with some things we can empower ourselves with and build towards for the future here. But fundamentally, yes, what is it that can we improve both within ourselves and our environment, which is what Virgo is all about, having good habits, good routines, good improvement orientation, really good there. But also on Thursday with this concentration of energy, Mercury will be squaring up to expansive Jupiter. So our minds contacting the more abstract realms. So it could be really good for maybe seeing potentials or opportunities, but remembering to stay grounded with that. Of course, we don't want to go to any extremes with Jupiter, which can be over inspiration or over hopefulness, or under inspiration or under hopefulness. We do want to see that there are opportunities and things we can build towards, and see how we can implement that constructively, right? And in this way, it becomes great for all things that do involve grounding potentials into understanding them with Mercury and Jupiter, grounding our philosophies and our outlooks on life, maybe challenging ourselves to communicate some of this stuff as well, maybe talking about abstract things or bigger picture life themes. Could be good to intentionally work on with that. But the Sun will be trining Saturn. Like I was saying, there's a harmony here with the outer planets. And so in this case, maybe feeling quite productive, maybe particularly around the Thursday time period. Maybe there's some things we can build towards, some things that we're willing to see the long road with and be patient with. Right? It's a good patient, disciplined energy around Thursday, which can be implemented into really any area of life. Although Saturn usually does benefit more of the achievements like career or success, right? That kind of outer development. But it can also be in our personal life, our relationships, whatever it is. Really good to have that patient, disciplined approach, which will likely come quite easy, relatively speaking, with this trine. All right, and then as we start to get into the weekend, again, fresh new start, do give it some time. It's again still the lowest energy phase of the cycle, but slowly starting to build some momentum moving forward. And yep, it'll be the crescent phase, so good to slowly plant some new seeds, get our feet wet, experiment, try some new things to see what this new cycle will be about. And then next week will be particularly good for starting to implement and constructively develop these new beginnings. All right, so over the weekend, for pretty much the whole weekend until late Sunday, we do still have the moon in Virgo, placing the emphasis on that improvement orientation. So what can we take perhaps from the previous cycle that we did find fun or spoke to that passion of ours, which is Leo, and start to build upon it with, again, good habits, good routines, and that improvement orientation around the weekend. That could be a great way of working with this early phase of the cycle. And then on Sunday, and closer to Sunday, Venus will start to shift into Leo though. So like I was saying, the Leo energy is staggering. When the sun leaves, Venus will enter here. And so it is good to see that, yes, there are still things to be enjoyed with our passions, especially if it does involve relationships in some way. Maybe connecting in a way that's towards things we find fun, hobbies, interests, combining that with what we enjoy, value, and enjoy connecting through. Some creative self-expression, maybe a bit easier to have some fun in those relationships, or express ourselves in those relationships, right? We're really starting to be valuing that stuff more so as Venus enters Leo, which will be, like I said, mostly Sunday and going into next week. All right, and the last thing I do want to mention is that the very late part of Sunday, the moon will be shifting into the scales of Libra. And so themes going into Monday, maybe around creating some balance in our life. Good to see if there are any areas out of balance and bring them back into balance could be good. Mercury will be involved with deep Pluto. So our minds will be in the underworld, so to speak. And so anything constructively we can do late Sunday that's channeling our minds into deeper things constructively, maybe research, maybe healing, maybe learning about deeper things, maybe communicating in such a way that might empower us in some way, or might involve facing some fears in some way, and some things that we feel like we really want to do on a deeper level, but might be challenging to do because of those fears or inhibitions. Good to challenge ourselves with that, but again, with conscious awareness, just to make sure that we're not going to any extremes with that deeper Pluto energy. Good to practice non-attachment, right? And then also that willingness to empower ourselves to do what we feel is right, both for ourselves and others, if it does involve communications in that way. But all in all, deep mind, which can be channeled constructively into all things that involve excavating and bringing things to the surface. All right, everyone, so that is the week in a nutshell. Most important thing is, of course, the new moon concentrated around Thursday. As we approach Thursday, the ending phase, creating some space and completing things from the previous cycle, especially if it has to do with the things that, we find fun and love in life, and that kind of theme that was about that development. And then Thursday onwards, starting to get into some of that improvement and refinement energy of Virgo, which is all about seeing what can we do to facilitate things for ourselves and others, solve problems, fix things, and take some of those energies of Leo, the passions, things we love, and start to work on them constructively and tangibly through good routines, good habits, and facilitation. All right, so everyone have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that like button if you haven't yet. If you're not yet signed up for MTZ Insiders, definitely check that out. There's extra videos and content for that down below. And I wish you an awesome week, and I'll see you all next time for the new moon forecast. Take care.